Hi, I'm Michael Allison, Commercial Director at Roma Finance. Welcome to another episode of RomaTalks, where I'm joined by people from across the property ecosystem. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Glenn Franklin-Jones from Brickflow.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, before we talk about Brickflow, let's talk about you, Glenn. So tell a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my experience is, I've been in the finance sector for over 10 years now in different roles. I've been in the corporate world with Barclays, I've been a commercial broker, self-employed at my own brokerage, and then now at Brickflow. So kind of a bit of a diverse background from that side. So I've seen all different sides of the fence, should we say.
Okay. And which one have you enjoyed the most so far?
Brickflow, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely, when I was initially speaking to Ian, who's the founder of Brickflow, I think my words to him was something that this industry's been crying out for.
Right.
From a broker perspective and looking at it on that side of the fence, it's definitely been something that can assist not just brokers, but borrowers and lenders alike.
So you've segued that lovely, by the way. Tell us about Brickflow then.
Yeah, so Brickflow, Ian is our founder, Ian Humphreys. So Brickflow is now around about 4 years old, and we're an online marketplace in essence in the specialist finance space. So it's for brokers to be able to source and place and apply for deals in development finance, which is our first product offering, bridging finance and commercial term mortgages. But we're more than just that. So we're also like a data engine. We can give good data insight to brokers, to borrowers, and to lenders, as well as being a tech firm looking at the next steps. How can we continually evolve and continually assist that transition for brokers?
So when you said that the industry was crying out for it, what is it that it brings that you think was missing?
I think it brings a more of a transparent look on the industry, and I think the industry itself has historically been one that's it's very opaque. Not many brokers have really known exactly where the market sits and what lenders do as a whole. They might have known a few, but there's some great lenders out there like Roma that brokers might not have fully really understood and fully known. And there's definitely lenders that can do more than what people know. And I think that's where it helps brokers build their knowledge, but also they can place more deals because they can place more complex deals, which ultimately helps more borrowers. So more deals can get done in the market.
Yeah, I think we obviously we do a lot of marketing, etc. But in some brokers' minds, we'll still be known as I think they only do development or small dev, even though we've got a full product suite. And
that's it.
It's Brickflow, I guess, is a way to break that down when they see us pop up on this comparison piece.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the way that we kind of view ourselves is, Roma and a lot of other lenders, they've got great BDM teams, but we see ourselves kind of like a virtual BDM for you. We're there kind of expanding that network, expanding people's knowledge of around what lenders do in the market and equally what they don't do. So they're sending the right deals to the right lenders, which is beneficial for them and their borrowers, and ultimately the lenders as well, like to save you time on the inquiries and the applications when they come in, that they fit what you want.
Yeah, I suppose we've certainly seen there seems to be an influx of new brokers into the commercial space, bridging. Obviously, the resi market's been quite stagnant over the last few years. Buy-to-let's had its challenges, so people are diversifying. Is Brickflow something that can help them get into that commercial lending world?
Yeah, definitely. So an example, so we've got a couple of mortgage networks that utilise the system now. So they are in that position where, like you say, they've got a bank of residential brokers that have historically just done the residential mortgages. They're looking at their own pipelines, looking to diversify, seeing what they can do. And Brickflow's giving them that almost like a training position where they're not having to learn the market as quickly as speaking to 50 BDMs. That they're getting it there and they're getting it live and that side of it, which I think is enabling them networks to build the confidence that their ARs can do the business, and then building the AR's confidence that ultimately their network is comfortable with them doing that business.
So then the AR can actually keep the relationship with that customer instead of having to off it off to a packager, for instance.
That's it, yeah. Instead of giving it to a packager, or a master broker, where they can maintain that relationship, grow that relationship with that borrower, and then ultimately it's not just for that deal; it's for the deals down the line.
And it grows the skill set for them as
Massively.
Well, isn't it? And I think everyone should have access to being able to grow their own businesses, which the ARs of the networks want to do ultimately, don't they?
Yeah, because ultimately they are their own business. So I think they are probably wearing so many hats.
Yeah.
Being an AR, I've been an AR myself. You wear so many hats. You are the broker, but you're not just the broker.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that they've got to do that I think this can help them alongside that, and it can help them manage their day better, because generally when you're a broker, you spend so much time doing research, finding the right deal for you. You lose a lot of your prospecting time in your admin and your back office and that side of things. where if Brickflow can alleviate a bit of that time, you're able to write more deals, build stronger relationships with the clients that you have got, but grow more new relationships as well.
Good. Technology is always changing, though, isn't it? You know, I think what's cutting edge in technology now won't be in 2 years. How's over the 4 years? How's Brickflow kept ahead of that?
I think it's changed even hugely, like you say, in that 4 year period. So I think Brickflow itself, we've always got to look at the next thing. We've always got to look at where can we move next, how can we move next, what's the most efficient way of doing that. And I think AI is massively coming into that for us.
Okay.
So we're starting to look at AI in numerous different ways. So there's so many bits of AI out there now. It's not just ChatGPT that everyone seems to know and use, but we're starting to look at different ways on how we can maximise our approach by looking at integrations as well. So, you know, we're looking at further API integrations to make it more of a streamlined bit of software. So whether that be Companies House, whether that be a credit reference agency API, just making it more of like an all-rounded bit of tech. So that way it's helping you as lenders a lot more feel that when you get the inquiry from Brickflow, it's better packaged, but also it's helping the brokers because, as we know, brokers aren't always ones that like the admin side of it. They're salespeople by nature. So it's helping them get the package better, build it stronger, and make them build their knowledge as well. So I think there's a lot that we're doing in the background, and it's a constantly changing process with us.
So where do you see it moving in the next 4 years then at Brickflow?
I think for us, we're looking at a lot of API integration in different ways initially. So our first bit will be we're looking at APIs into CRMs, whether it be lender, whether it be broker. We're looking at APIs into lender portals, and NatWest was our first API into product data. So their product data now APIs live into Brickflow. So there's no need for manual handle either side of either NatWest or Brickflow. So it's live time data, which obviously brokers are then obviously going to respect that live data stream. So so APIs are massive. And then, like I mentioned, lender portals where there's application portals, they are the next rung along the API side of things. So yeah, there's APIs probably the first stage, and then we're going to look to build a bit more lender-facing tech. So that's yet to be confirmed. What kind of things we're looking. We're in consultation with yourself and different lenders around that. So that's where we're.
I think what's really interesting is what started off as ultimately almost like a comparison site is evolving into being a tool to help people interface broker lender relationship and speeding it up through technology, which I guess that then means that the time you spend to them can be value add instead of application forms or credit reports. That's all done in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the other angle with it as well is it's helping the borrower. So there's every other industry, you can go on, you can get your car insurance, you can go on, Skyscanner, you can all of that kind of things. We know that consumers want that. The residential market is there, so that's why we're looking at the market that we sit in today, because we know the market's there. The borrowers want that kind of ability to go, right, I've got 5 sites on my desk. Historically, I've guessed what my interest rate's going to be or something along them lines. They can quickly go into a Brickflow or one of our partners and see, right, okay, well, that site won't work, that site will work. Gives them a negotiation tool and that side of things. So I think the borrower is also someone that we're very keen, although we are massively pro-intermediary, but the borrower sits behind the intermediary. Yeah. So that's another party that, we're always trying to help.
Well, this is the structure, isn't it? You need the borrower first, the borrower in the vision. Then you need the broker or the access to the lender, and the broker is predominantly, in our space, the access to the lender. Yeah. And what you're giving them is, if they are starting, instead of thinking, who did I have, and look for a few business cards, you give them the opportunity to see which lenders they do want to interface with based on what's important to them. It may be rate, it may be leverage, it may be all those variables.
Definitely. And what we're finding from our research and what our brokers are saying to us is, rate isn't necessarily king. Certainty of funds, speed is becoming by far and away the main thing that the borrower wants, because they want to know that at the 11th hour, there's not second underwrite. There's not almost the rug's been pulled from underneath you and the carpet's been pulled from underneath you. You've got that certainty there, and you're not getting a loaded rate at the 11th hour. And I think that's becoming more and more, we're finding from our side, it's not just about the rate.
I think we see that as well. And a lot of it, obviously, when you've got to be able to speak to your borrowers as well, speak to the applicants, and have almost like an open relationship between the lender, the borrower, and the broker. We're all our interests are aligned. The borrower doesn't make money unless they get the the secure the finance. The broker doesn't make money unless the lender lends, and the lender doesn't make money unless they lend and get it back. So there's no point us all looking, for each other to do something. We've all got to be on that same page.
We have, and I think also historically the industry has been quite, probably cloak and dagger is probably the wrong word, but there has been, there's not been always the most positive outlook on the bridging market, but I think that has massively changed over recent times, and now I think people aren't necessarily just seeing bridging as a necessity, but more of it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense for the deal. It makes sense for that side of things. So it's more, and it's a lot more robust now than what it used to be.
Yeah, listen, bridging finance has never had the best reputation historically.
Yeah.
But more and more people now are attuned to knowing where it sits within that finance structure. Yeah. And I think that's probably what's enabled the networks, etc., to let the ARs start to come into that world instead of handing it off to somebody else to deal with, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, because the way that the market is now, and although we're still in an unregulated world generally in the specialist space, it is still, I think people are taking them extra steps now to kind of make sure that they're doing the due diligence. And what we're finding as well is with a lot of lenders, the borrower centric is becoming more, they want to understand more around the borrower. It's not just the asset. As I think time gone by is, does the asset fit? Does the security fit? As now there's a lot more around, well, a good borrower can make a bad project go well. But ultimately, if you've got a great project and a bad borrower, that can go the other way. So I think it's so much more about relationships now and understanding the borrowers.
100%. Our approach is, our 4-step approach to a deal is borrower, story, asset, exit. So really, it's the borrower, when you understand who they are and what they're looking to achieve through that story and what they've been. And if they had a few blips in the past, anybody in property will have faced a bit of blips over the last, certainly pre-COVID, post-COVID, pre-Liz Truss, post-Liz Truss, pre-Ukraine, post, all of that stuff. They will have faced, every project's going to have gone perfect. It's how they deal with it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the asset, because normally they're not picking the best house on the best street.
No.
They've got a vision, and how will they pay you back? And totally, the more people who look at the storybook lending, then that approach is key, really, I think, because that's essentially what we're there to do. We're there to help people to create wealth through property.
Yeah.
Dead simple.
And like you say, it's that circle, isn't it? The borrower, the lender, and the broker, they need to be working in harmony. So 100%.
Absolutely. So how many brokers currently utilise?
So we've got, it's massively changed since I started. So we're now at, I think when I joined, there must have been under 50 brokerages that use Brickflow. We're now at north of 400 brokerages.
Wow. And
around about 800 users within them brokerages. So each brokerage, you might have a big firm that might have, say, 10, 15 advisors, but then you've got the smaller sub 5 advisor firms that use it. So it massively varies on how many per brokerage. But yeah, we're now motoring along, and then we've got, like I mentioned previously, we've got networks now starting to be involved. We've got possible integrations with CRMs that will bring further, brokers from that residential space and help them integrate into the specialist market.
And how many lenders?
So lenders, we're now over 100.
Wow.
Across our finance type. So we've got our dev lenders, we've got our bridging lenders, and we've got our commercial mortgage lenders. So yeah, we're now north. I think we're over 110 actually, but yeah, we're making our way through our lender and our broker account quite nicely.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously you've got a really strong brand as well within the industry, backed up by the 2 dinosaurs. I forget what their names are.
Oh, Bricky and Flow. That's it. Yeah. That was a marketing idea, and it's crazy. We have waiting lists from now.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get one.
I know.
I got one at the NACFP.
We have waiting lists for them now. So that the Bricky and the Flow side's gone down brilliantly. But yeah, I think the reputation and the brand has massively changed. I think Ian uses the phrase, like when he first started Brickflow, people thought we sell bricks. I mean, and you look at Brickflow now, generally any event you go to, they might not necessarily know exactly what Brickflow does, but they've at least heard the name.
Yeah.
And they have a basic understanding of who we are and what we do. So I think in such a short period of time, it's definitely, but it's shown market fit, I think, as well. And it shows that it's something that the market, it can benefit the market.
But also that a lot of that's down to yourself as well, and the relationships that you build directly with lenders. And obviously we value that very highly, working with yourself. So you've got to take some of the credit as well.
Yeah. I'll take that compliment.
You can take that snippet into your next one-to-one.
I can take that. I can say a great snippet there.
Brilliant. Okay. And outside of work, what do you get up to there, Glenn?
So I've got 2 children. So I've got a 5-year-old. So my first experience of the school holidays this year, which has been fun, to say the least. And I've got a 1-year-old. So just getting back some sleep after the 1-year-old. But yeah, that's at the moment takes a lot of my time, especially the 1-year-old and that side of it. So yeah,
It's the best time though, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, definitely. And I think you forget, like, from the 5-year-old to 1-year-old, like, you forget loads of things, like, in terms of like what you actually get to experience. So that, yeah, there's been a lot of things. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But it's definitely different from the second to the first. I can say that for sure.
Well, I only have one, and will only ever have one. So I'll take your word for that one, if that's okay. We're through now. My daughter's 9, so we're at the point where it gets herself dressed and all this kind of stuff. Probably got a bit too much to say, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, no, we say our 5-year-old going on. She's 15, so I mean, yeah, she's definitely got the sass. There's no doubt about that.
Excellent. Listen, Glenn, thanks very much for coming to see us today. Really enjoyed it, and thanks for telling us everything on Brickflow as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, thanks, and thanks everyone else for watching. Thank you. Goodbye.